So for this part of our sock, I've gone ahead and I put my sock on my foot form, and you can see if I pull this a little bit, I'm almost to my line, my first line. So I probably need to do about 2 more rows, and then we'll be ready to start our heel. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that it's just underneath the line. Ignore this top line, and you want it to be just underneath that line because you want it to have 10% negative ease, which means that your socks fit tighter. That also, there's 2 reasons for that. They look nicer, they feel nicer in a shoe, but also the heels don't wear out as fast when they're not flopping around rubbing against your shoe and your heel. So this is basically where we want that last row to be. So let's go ahead and get there, and then meet me back here. I will get you through the heel, and you'll be able to finish your sock by yourself then. Way nice. Okay, thanks for joining me. See you later. Okay, we're getting ready to turn the heel, and I have, on my knit side, I have knit across, and I am going to knit across to the last 2 stitches. Okay, now right here we have 2 stitches on our needle, and normally we would knit through here, but I want you to go ahead to the stitch right below it, pick it up, and put it on your needle. Again, remember to keep these 2 stitches separate. Knit through that stitch and then bring it back. And my yarn is getting pretty worn, and the stitches are getting less defined because this is the 5th time I've had to do this. Somehow my camera is not working. All right, once we've done that, then we're going to turn it, and I will let you purl back clear to the other side. Okay, join me back here to do the purl stitch. So once we finish the twin knit, we're going to turn and purl to the other side of the sock. And remember, a couple of the ways you can tell things is, first of all, it's the inside of the sock, but second of all, it has the ribs. It's not nice and smooth like this side, but it has ribs. And so that tells me that I'm on the purl side. And I'm going to go ahead and purl, like I said, clear over to the other side and leave 2 stitches on my left-hand needle. Oh, let me fix that. I'm sorry. I dropped a stitch somehow. So there we go. I got it. Remember, you can always take your mouse and click in the middle of a video to get it to stop and pause while you go ahead and catch up. Once we have 2 stitches on our left hand needle, I'm going to take the entire stitch, the first stitch, and move it to my right hand needle. And once I've done that, then I find the stitch beneath that. I keep my finger on here to keep it separate, and I bring up that stitch, and then I purl it and I put it back on my needle. So you can see, and again, you can see my stitches are getting a little bit loose because I've had to do this unknit so many times so that I could get the video done. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to, there we go. Sorry, I did not get that done. Okay, I'm gonna have to stop because I'm dropping. Once you get this part finished, go ahead and turn your work and knit clear back. Leave 1 stitch before that twin stitch. There's your twin stitch, so you'll leave this. You'll knit back to that, and I'll catch up with you. So your last segment should have been a purl, and when you turn it over, we'll count them, and we'll see that we have a single and then 7 doubles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on the right needle, and on the left we have a single, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 doubles, and then in the middle that have not doubled should be 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. So this is just the first part. There are 3 parts to turning your heel with this sock, and we're going to go ahead and end here, and then the next video that I do will be doing the middle part, which is called the boomerang, but I'm going to call it the middle part just so you remember. And then we will go on to the second video after this one, and we will finish the second half of the heel. You can already see this is starting to turn. It's starting to turn up, and so this will be where your heel is. So join me back. I'm hoping that I figure out the glitches in my computer, and my video camera, so that we don't have to wait so long between videos. Happy knitting, and thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Alright, so this is going to be the middle part of our sock, and if you have finished all of your twin stitches on both sides, you should have just finished a purl side and turned it. So we need some stitch markers. So make sure you have 2 stitch markers. You don't use them for very long, but it's the only way to keep your place for this and keep your socks on track. So there are my 2 stitch markers, and there's my sock. So I'm already turned. I have 8, 2, 4, 6, 8, 2, 4, 6, 8 twin stitches, and then in the middle I have 2, 4, 6, 8 twin stitches also. So what we're going to do is we're going to knit these 8 single stitches, and when we get to the twin stitch we will put a marker. So go ahead and knit with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to shut the door. Okay, so once we have gotten to that first twin stitch, then we put a stitch marker on our needle. And then we're just going to go ahead and knit these stitches, the twin stitches, which you have 7 of them. There's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now we have 1 single twin stitch on our left needle, and what we're going to do is we're going to make that a twin stitch and then turn. So we're going to the yarn underneath, put it up on our needle, knit it, and then put it back on that needle. So we're going to have a single twin stitch right there on that needle. And you can see my stitches are loose because I had to knit and unknit 6 different times to get my camera to pick it up, and I didn't want you to miss it. Okay, so I'm pulling out. So then we're going to go ahead and turn, and we're going to purl. Oops, we're going to purl back to that first marker, and then we will go ahead and slip that marker once we get to it. I'm just taking you through each step by step. I know this can get a little boring and redundant, but hang with me. Okay, we're at that first marker, so we're going to slip it. And then we're going to purl the middle stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and there's a double stitch. So we're going to take the other marker and we're going to go ahead and put it on our needle, and then we'll purl these 7 double stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Oops, 8 is the last one, sorry. So then we're going to make this a twin. We're going to move it from our left to our right needle, pick up the yarn underneath, put it on our needle, and purl that, and then we'll put both those stitches back on. So basically, that's it for our boomerang, our middle part. And you can see you're starting to get a nice little heel. Okay, join me next time and we will finish the third and last part of our heel, and then we'll be ready to just knit around for our cuff. Thanks for joining me. Have fun knitting. Hi, so our last video we had just finished up and we had a twin stitch, one twin stitch on our right side. And we had placed our markers. We have 2 markers. And there's our center stitches that are single stitches. So as we go through this, we will begin to remove these. Don't remove them until I tell you to though, but we will begin to remove these and make these twin stitches more, and then our twin stitches will become our stitch markers. So I'm going to go ahead and knit across to my first marker. I have a split stitch, so I'm trying to fix it. There we go. And once you come to that first marker, then just slip it. Slip it across, put it on your right hand needle, and go ahead and knit the middle stitches to the second marker. Remember, anytime you need to pause a video, take your mouse and just click in the middle of the video. It'll stop it. And then when you're ready to start, click it again in the middle of the video and it'll restart. Okay, so I am at my second stitch marker. So you can take that stitch marker off. What we're going to do is we're going to do a twin knit, and that is where you go in the stitch beneath. Let me pull in just a little bit more. Okay, there's our regular stitch, and there is our stitch beneath. So we're going to take our stitch beneath, and this is just a twin knit stitch. So we're going to put it on our needle, knit it, and then put it back on our needle. So now we have a twin stitch. That becomes our marker for now. Okay, once we've done that twin stitch, we're going to turn it over, and we are going to purl back to our other marker. And I'm trying to get my pearls straightened out like yours so they don't look so odd. Okay, once you get back to that marker, it's going to be pretty much the same thing. You're going to just go ahead and flick it off. We don't need it. And we're going to do a twin purl. We're going to move the stitch from the left needle to the right needle, take the stitch underneath, put it on our needle and purl it, and move both of those stitches back. Now turn it. What you see is you have a twin stitch at the beginning and a twin stitch over here. Those become our markers now. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and knit back to our first twin stitch. And this is something that you're going to have to just be aware of. Watch yourself very closely so that you don't forget to do a twin stitch. Oh, wait a minute. Wait Okay, there's my twin stitch. It's coming out of the same. So I'm going to knit that together, knit those 2 twin stitches together, and make the next stitch a twin stitch. So see, you're basically moving your twin stitch 1 stitch to the left each time. Okay, so I'm going to turn it, and again I'm going to purl, and this will be the same basic premise. We're going to purl clear across until we come to our twin stitch. Excuse me, quality of air is really bad right now. Okay, there's my twin stitch. There are 2 stitches coming out of one. I'm going to go ahead and purl those, and then we're going to make the next stitch a twin stitch. So I move it to the right hand needle, pick up the stitch below it, put it on the needle, and purl it, and then move those 2 stitches back. So you are basically going to do this until you get to the last, excuse me, you'll get to the last, you'll have 2 twin stitches on each side. So go ahead and I'll meet you back here in just a little bit. So we're back, and as you can see, I have 2 twin stitches on the right side. I've knit back, and I have 2 twin stitches on the left side, so on my left needle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and knit through both of those twin stitches, and now you're ready to start knitting in the round. And as you can see, you have a nice little heel there. It just looks like a cute little heel. So I'm going to turn it so that the stitches that I haven't been working on my front needle are facing me, and we're just going to start knitting across now. Now remember, you have 2 twin stitches on the purl side here. So when we come to those, we were just going to knit those as if they're single stitches. Now, there's this little tricky part, otherwise you'll get a hole right here in the middle of your stitches. Pull your stitches just a little bit tighter when you start knitting on this side, and hold it so that it stays tight so that you don't get that hole. So go ahead and knit through these, and now you're ready to start working the cuff, and that will be our next video. Remember, when you turn to do this other side, you're going to knit those 2 twin purl stitches as if they were 1 stitch, just like we did here. Okay, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for joining me.